Well, hello everyone. It's Thor, and today we're going to be talking about how you can earn money looking at the houses and the planets in your chart. Because in Vedic astrology, the idea is that everything in your life is karma, whether that be your family relationships, your romantic relationships, even your money situation is all related to karma from past lives. So a lot of people find themselves in, for example, dead end jobs where maybe they're not getting pay raises. And even though they're working very hard, they just never get promoted and their salary never gets higher. Other people may make very high salaries. Maybe they're, an executive at some sort of company. And then those people, maybe they can't save money or all their money goes to buying a big house and all these big bills that they have. So money is a very nuanced subject when we take a look at your astrology chart because there's a lot of different factors. Now, the good thing about the astrology chart is it can show you the easiest ways to make money for your specific chart. So, for example, some people may find that working a traditional job isn't really going to be the avenue where they're going to make money. They may have a strong third house where it's going to be more through entrepreneurship and owning their own small business. That's going to be the way. So, your chart will show you the easiest avenue to make money. Okay. So the idea is you don't want to go against the karmic wind. You don't want to go, for example, if you have Saturn aspecting your second house or 11th house, it might show difficulty in trying to make money in a traditional way. But if your third house has good planets, then you can create your own small business. For those of you that are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. And I want to thank all of you that have been supporting my channel and also purchasing readings. It really does help the channel and helps me to grow and help me to put more time and effort into the channel. So it's very much appreciated. Thank you very much to all of you. My goal is 10,000 subscribers. And if you're interested in your own private reading, check the details down below. There's a special holiday discount till the end of the year here. And also, I wanted to make the disclaimer that when we're talking about money, you still need to consult with a qualified financial planner or advisor when making financial decisions. So, this is just one tool to help you really analyze the karmic background or the karmic underpinnings that are really influencing your money situation. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to take a look at the houses. I'm going to explain some of the houses and what they mean to give you a fuller understanding. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Steve Jobs' chart. So I can show you an example chart of how, if we take a look at someone's chart, it shows the avenues in which they can make money. And in Steve Jobs' case, the avenue was really through uh, creating his own company. So that would be entrepreneurship. So we'll take a look at that in a moment. So almost any house in your chart can actually produce money or income. So that's one of the fascinating things about astrology. There's so many different areas of life where you can make money. So if you're just thinking in a traditional, you need to get a job to make money, then you're really limiting your perceptual filter, how you can make money. There's many different avenues. All right, so let's go to the presentation here. So before we go into the houses here, your financial situation is karma. It's one of the four aims of life. For those of you that are new to Vedic astrology, the four aims of life are going to be dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So dharma is your purpose in life. Artha is material wealth. We need wealth to survive. Unfortunately, we live in a world that requires some sort of exchange of assets, okay, or exchange transactions in order to eat and to live. Kama is relationships. So kama is desire. So we all need validation through other people. Romantic relationships, family relationships, work relationships, all of those are in the play. And then the fourth aim of life is going to be moksha, which is enlightenment. Okay, and that's really the final aim of life, right? So if you have trouble accumulating money in your life, it's likely from a misuse of money in your past life. So, for example, you may have been very stingy. You may have been a miser or a Scrooge in a past life. Maybe there were a lot of suffering people around you and you didn't help them. And that's why you're having this really bad financial karma in this lifetime. Or maybe in a past lifetime, you had the opportunity to help some people, people that were less fortunate than yourself, but you just decided to spend all your money on a lavish, decadent lifestyle, only thinking about yourself in selfish ways. That's the type of karma we're talking about. And that's why you experience financial insufficiency within the current lifetime. Now, the other point of view to take on this is your main purpose in this lifetime may be non-material as well. So let's pretend you're destined to become a spiritual leader or a yogi. Well, material concerns might not be on the menu for you in this lifetime. So that's the other thing. It's not necessarily a punishment just because you don't have a lot of material resources in your life. I also want to point out that Yogananda talked about this, that abundance is not just how much money you make. Abundance is basically the ability to manifest what you need when you need it. So if you can change your definition on what abundance is, that also helps with this. The ability to manifest what you need when you need it. So in Yogananda's case, he needed to build an ashram, he needed to travel to America, and he manifested that money through other people that basically helped him with building his fellowship here in the United States. All right, so let's go back to the presentation. A chart can show a loophole. I'm calling it a loophole, but really it's an opportunity. It's the divine doesn't want you to just have a total chart of pure suffering. There's always usually ways to help mitigate some of the karma in your chart. So we talked about karmic mitigation with gemstones and mantras. That's in a past video if you want to see that. But also you can just choose a different trajectory on how you want to make money. So one may be blocked in terms of traditional career trajectory, but may find a way to make money through entrepreneurship. So that's the other way. And that's in Steve Jobs' chart, which we're going to talk about. So let's talk about the houses. So all these houses right here, it's almost all 12 houses. They all have some sort of aspect where you can make money through those houses. So the first house is your appearance and your body. So think of people that become models. I mean, really, isn't it just their appearance that's really making money? They happen to be very attractive. So they might have Venus in the first house, and it might be very strong in the first house. Sometimes people are just born literally with just the appearance that makes money. What's really funny is I saw a documentary where they noticed that attractive people get better jobs. They get like free food when they enter restaurants. So there's just this idea of being born that way, and that's part of your karma, obviously. The second house is going to represent family of origin wealth. It also represents saved assets, accumulated wealth, and your voice. So if you make money through voice. This is usually the trust fund babies. So people that have a very affluent family are going to usually have a very strong second house. So the family helps them. The family gets them to the best schools. The family buys their first house. The family purchases all these things for them. So it's coming, and then they inherit that wealth. So some people have a very strong second house. And if you have a malefic in the second house, it can be the opposite. Maybe your family didn't really have anything to pass on to you, and maybe you just had to kind of reinvent the wheel and start from scratch. A lot of people have that kind of chart as well. The third house is going to be your self-earned wealth and entrepreneurship. Okay, that's going to be when you literally just go on your own. You're not working for a corporation. You're not working for an institution of any sort. You decide you are just going to go out into the world and you're going to start something and make money. So that's what Steve Jobs did. Started a company in his garage, making these Macs, and he just decided he's going to find someone to sell them. That's literally third house. You're starting your own thing, and you're not being employed by somebody else. The fourth house is going to show real estate. So those of you that are really interested in real estate, you're really going to want to have a strong fourth house or at least something like the fourth lord in the second house, something where there's something where the fourth house is very positive in your chart. The fifth house is going to be creative arts, good fortune, and investing. So, have you noticed that sometimes people, besides the first house, maybe appearing attractive, they make money simply by being an artist? Okay. Maybe they're very gifted at singing, or they're very gifted at acting, they're a celebrity, and they make a ton of money, way more money than even a doctor would make. Okay, because when we're talking about a doctor most of the times is still an employee, right? So an artist might be, I'm thinking of like celebrities like Brad Pitt or Rihanna, a voice artist, but these people make money through their celebrity. Okay. Also, fifth house can represent good fortune, and also it represents speculation. Okay. And it also represents things like gambling, because speculation is sort of gambling in some sort of way. So if you are interested in how your luck would be in casinos, and I'm not telling anyone to go to casinos, but your fifth house and how it's in your chart would show how much luck you have. Sixth house is a way to make money. So even though sixth house is going to show it's a dust in the house, it's an evil house, it's the house of menial jobs, just getting a job just to make ends meet, the sixth house is still an avenue to make money. So it's literally the house of just working hard. Your hard work, nose to the grindstone, you're working overtime, you have these menial jobs, and you're just working, working, working. Now, some people have a really bad sixth house, so that's like totally not the way to go for those people. But some people, you'll notice they work hard their whole life, and they actually establish a pretty good fortune through it. So it really depends. Eighth house is going to be spouse's wealth. Sometimes you just marry the right person. You marry the right person and you share in the wealth that comes through the spouse. That's shown in an astrology chart. If you marry a wealthy spouse, it's going to benefit you in some sort of way. And also, eighth house represents things like inheritances, insurance payouts, taxes, investor money. So if you really figure out how to, for example, really work out your tax situation, you save tremendous amount of money just by knowing the tax code or knowing special ways to save money there. The ninth house is wisdom to make wealth. So when we're talking about Yogananda, when he was talking about manifesting, the ninth house is the type of house where it's first of all being at the right place at the right time. It's God's grace, but it's also, if you're a very old soul, the ninth house is literally being able to manifest money through using the laws of the universe. There are some souls on this planet, believe it or not, that are fully capable of manifesting money, okay, through different spiritual techniques, rituals, and basically knowledge of Tantra, the occult. They can manifest money, okay, and that's ninth house because they're using their wisdom to manifest money. 11th house is going to be salary. This is what typically is a salary in a corporation. Like if you're a very high earner, you're an executive, you're getting these really big bonuses. That's going to be 11th house. Network association, royalties. If you're an investor, let's say you just have a lot of money, the 11th house to me represents capitalism, laissez-faire capitalism. Like you just have a lot of money and you can put it in different investment portfolios and just make a ton of interest on all that money. That literally is what the 11th house is. But it also represents salary. So 11th house is going to be somewhat traditional in some aspects as well. All right, so that is talking about all the houses. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at Steve Jobs' chart. And I'm going to show you, we're going to point out a few things in the chart to just show how he made his money. It was part of his karma. When you're somebody like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, I'm just using them as examples, it's not just a matter of working hard or being smart. There are millions of people on this planet that are smart and work very hard. Okay. It's your karma. It's your karma being at the right place, right time, right people, right technology. All those things have to line up. The stars literally have to line up for you to become that fortunate. So let's take a look at Steve Jobs' chart here. And we're just going to talk about the money. I'm not going to do a full analysis here. But we're just using this as a chart. You'll notice that Sun is in the first house, which is going to make him incredibly charismatic. Remember, we said the first house can make you money. Okay. Sun is in the first house. It's not very strong in the first house. And I think that's why we saw, if you guys watched that movie when Ashton Kutcher played Steve Jobs, he had a tendency to be angry or had a tendency to come off as kind of cruel in the workplace. That could be because of this very misplaced sun. So it shows somebody with a very large ego. But that being said, the sun in the first house, what does it do? It makes you able to sell anything. So what was Steve Jobs' main contribution? You have to think about it. He was mainly a salesman. He didn't know all the technical little components. Those were for the engineers. He was the face of Apple. That's who Steve Jobs was, the face of Apple. Okay, now let me clean up the chart. If you look at the second house in his chart, remember this is money through family. The second house is not very good. I mean, you know why I say that is because the moon rules the sixth house into the second house. So this shows that the family, they may have supported in some sort of way, but he didn't get all of his fortune through just being born into the right family. It wasn't like he was a trust fund baby. Okay. Sixth house can even show some sort of difficulty in your family of origin, or jealousy or envy within your family of origin. Now, this is all alleged statements, by the way. Alleged. Okay. The other thing we want to look at, and this is really what's making the most money in Steve Jobs' chart. So look at this. It's the Mars in the third house. It's in its own sign of Aries. Remember, the third house has to do with entrepreneurship, and also the drive. So that tremendous ambition that Steve Jobs had. Do you remember, if you watched that movie, Steve Jobs was like almost, he was so pushy. We need to, you need to develop this space for this computer to fit in it, and you just need to do it. That's how, and Mars is like that. Mars is just going to make it happen to just sheer force of will. Okay, we need to keep on. We're going to be here all day until we figure out a way to fit this fan in this box so we can have a computer. That's the type of thing that Mars would do. So Mars is giving that incredible push, that incredible drive, but also there's a certain amount of cutthroatness. Like when he wasn't, if you watched the Steve Jobs movie, some of his early partners in Apple ended up kind of, at least in the movie, being portrayed as being left out. Okay, because where they found out they weren't getting, part of the deal or the money or the benefits that Steve was getting. So the Mars can be kind of selfish in a way too. Okay, so fifth house with Keiichi there, I would usually say that's not good. So speculation, gambling, those kind of things would not have been good for Steve Jobs. Okay. Ninth house, Saturn is there. So when we're talking about just, good fortune or knowing how to use the laws of the universe to make money, that's not happening either. Okay. But check out the 11th house. The 11th house, he's got Rahu there. And when you got Rahu there and Venus there, this is a combo where you can make billions of dollars, okay? Because Venus is the karaka of luxury and large finance. So, interestingly enough, Rahu being in the 11th house shows that there was a desire in this incarnation to really manifest a lot of financial wealth. Now, after Steve Jobs was able to really build Apple, right? Well, where did all the money go? It went right into here. So investing, okay, stock market, market shares, all those kind of things. And then that just makes you even more wealthy. So that's typically the path that happens for an entrepreneur. So a lot of times they make money through their business, and then they end up taking that money from their business and investing it even into other aspects, other companies, and making even more money on interest and dividends and all sorts of royalties and things like that. So you become tremendously wealthy. So that's the chart I wanted to show you. You want to make sure you go through all those houses that I pointed out to you all when we were going through those houses, because it's going to give you a clue on where you can make money. So if you have malefics in the second house and the 11th house, those are the traditional ways of making money. There's other avenues in your chart. Look at the third house, look at the ninth house. Look at all these other houses, look at the first house. And a lot of times you can find a way or an avenue that's going to be the easiest karmically to make money. Now, this wasn't really about career. This reading was more about money, just having the resources that you need to make it in life. So let me know what you all think down below in the comments. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.